My fellow officers, I have accepted the gavel of office on your behalf, and I stand here very, very humbled and honored to be the National President for another term. I know that with your continued support and guidance, we will work together to achieve our dream of a revitalized membership in IODE. Motivational speaker Anthony Robbins is quoted as saying, "The most important thing you can do to achieve your goals is to make sure that as soon as you set them, you immediately begin to create momentum." My remarks this afternoon will address how we can build on the momentum we have created with the Making Connections membership campaign that began last September in St. Martin's, New Brunswick, in our drive to increase membership, which I believe is the future of IODE. I must state that it's been an exciting and meaningful year for IODE across Canada, not only for the amazing volunteer work you do and with the chapters and their members, but also for all the very extra special events that have occurred this past year. I would like to briefly highlight 5 activities that were beyond the norm. First, the creation of the Queen Elizabeth II Diamond Jubilee War Memorial Scholarship to celebrate Her Majesty's 60th anniversary as Queen of Canada and our Commonwealth. Second was the significant donations of relief funds in 5 provinces this past year to mitigate the aftermath of severe disasters. And third, the successful and companionable move of IODE Canada and IODE Toronto into shared office space. Fourth, we have further recognition of Her Majesty's Diamond Jubilee, itself a unique event, with a collection from across Canada of signature pages of congratulations now beautifully bound in a book here on display today. And lastly, but no means least, the momentum that was created over our concern for our declining membership. Momentum began last fall with the start of a national membership campaign across Canada, which was authorized by the National Executive Committee. Shortly after the announcement of the campaign, a most generous bequest was given to IODE from the Edith and Gordon Benson Foundation, designated to a special President's Membership Travel Account. These funds have afforded me the opportunity to travel to chapters across Canada to give the Making Connections membership campaign presentation. By the middle of October of this year, the message that we must grow our membership within the next 4 years will have been heard in all our provinces and the Yukon. It is with very much gratitude that I, on behalf of members across Canada, thank the Foundation's Board of Directors who recognize that the historical significance of our organization that for 112 years has supported individuals and institutions across Canada. The Making Connections presentation has been made in the Maritimes, in St. Martin's, New Brunswick, Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, and Charlottetown, PEI. In Montreal, Quebec, in Ontario, in Bridgetown, London, Sarnia, and Carleton Place, in Alberta, in Calgary, and Red Deer. And in the coming months, it will be heard in Dawson City, actually in 2 weeks, and in Winnipeg, Regina, Tawasin, Vancouver, Nanaimo in September, and St. John's, Newfoundland in the first week of October. By the middle of October, we will have reached an important milestone and will have achieved my goal, that is the creation of a buzz across Canada with chapters having conversations. A new momentum has begun in that we need to grow our membership. The excuses of why we felt we could not attract new members and the negativity that has surrounded these excuses has been put behind us. Enthusiasm is the energy and force that builds momentum, and from the responses we have received, IODE members are enthusiastic and are embracing the fact that they must each become membership officers and extend invitations to women of all ages and walks of life to join IODE for the reasons I'm about to explain. If you look at the bulletin board in the hall outside, there is a display of colorful maple leaves which were collected from attendees at all of the Making Connections presentations. Each maple leaf is signed with messages from our members of what they love about IODE. 3 themes have repeated themselves over and over. Members love IODE because of the social connections and friendships they have developed through their membership. They love the fun and camaraderie they have during IODE activities, and they love the volunteer work they do in their communities in the name of IODE. However, we must now continue the momentum and move on to the second phase of our strategic goal, and that is to act. IODE must change and make changes in order to survive. According to the most recent article of Association magazine, it states, and I quote, are you ready for this? If our organization is not embracing change, then we should be preparing our obituary, unquote. When I read that, I gasped at those words. Further, the article states that if we are not prepared to dominate, then we should throw in the towel. And I continue, we need to climb out of the association management rut that we find ourselves in and start dealing with change. This should not be a huge problem, it seems, for after all, the very creation of our organization was an act of change in and of itself, unquote. Again, I gasped when I read those words. But once I absorbed the enormity of this article's message, I began to analyze what I felt IODE needed to do to make changes and build on the momentum created by Making Connections. I want IODE to dominate the group of charitable organizations in Canada. Now, I'm going to share with you my thoughts regarding change, some of which may be very controversial, but I hope will create another buzz of discussion. I have 11 quick points. Number 1, the most important one is the creation of new chapters. We all know this. We need new chapters to survive, and I am so happy to know that women out there in the provinces are going to start 10 new chapters in the coming year. Number 2 is that we must stress to women of all ages and from all walks of life that IODE is still here, and after 112 years of our organizational work, we want them and we need them to carry on the legacy of an organization that has made a huge difference in Canadian society. We must embrace young women in our membership with their social media choices and within their time constraints. And we must invite women who are looking for a meaningful second phase of their life to join IODE. This group of women have completed their careers, they have finished raising their families, and still have significant energy and a desire to make a positive impact on Canadian society. Number 3, as we know from the reports given today, our chapter's volunteer work and contributions to their community makes a significant impact because they are focused locally, and I stress locally. Therefore, and here is the buzz, I am going to suggest that's going to cause great conversations within the National Executive Committee. And that is, I think we need to revisit the concept of the E-chapter. We must realize that women today, not all women today, can or want to join an existing primary chapter in their hometown, and yet they want to volunteer. And I want them to do it in the name of IODE with their self-driven motivation. If we focus on local E-chapters, by doing that, we give these E-chapter members the opportunity to make connections socially and to have fun, the 2 main reasons why women are members of IODE, and do it locally and have the opportunity to meet with each other on occasion. Number 4, we need to enhance our image, as has been expressed over and over by several analyses of our organization and by members themselves, as reported on the Bricks of Excuses during the Making Connections presentation. Number 5, We must enhance our social connections to promote IODE, and I'll stress it, by non-IODE members, to become ambassadors of our organization. Number 6, we must enhance our social connections by making sure our interfaces with social media and our website are exciting and relevant to young women. We must target what captures their mind, perhaps stressing volunteer work that is related to young children. Number 7, we must re-examine our icons, that is our badge, our logo, our mission statement, our tagline, to make sure that they're modern and relevant for today and are not dependent on being relevant to the past. We must, number 8 is we must help our chapters to gain new members by providing more tools such as email form letters of invitation, which they can customize and send to their community leaders, business contacts, and relatives. Imagine another campaign of 500 letters a day by members of IODE. If Margaret Polson Murray could do it in one summer in 1900 with handwritten letters, imagine the momentum we could gain by the use of electronic distribution of these letters. I'm just going to give you a quick example. A member of my chapter who was elected yesterday as a national councillor, Gwyneth Harkin, has taken this membership campaign to heart. And she has developed, I think it's 4 different letters customized to the person she is sending the letter to. And she has given us permission to take her letters and make them into a format where you can fill them in and send them out. Number 9, we must investigate ways that affect the administration of our organization and make it more streamlined and cost-effective. And we're always talking about cost reduction, so I'm going to give you 2 examples of what I think we should consider investigating. One is the automatic updates of all our databases with 1 entry. Right now at head office, if there's a change in membership, the name of, say, your email, it's all done manually on a different database. And we have how many of them, Karen? Do you know?
About 4.
4 of them. So you can imagine the time that it takes for our office staff to do that. And I believe we should investigate the cost of sending out our tax receipts by email, which would save significant amounts of money in postage costs. Number 10, we must investigate ways in which to make the deliberations and decisions of the National Executive Committee and the special committees more inclusive of input from members from coast to coast to coast, and become less dependent on those who live within the area of head office. We need to investigate ways we can hold these meetings, perhaps via Skype or some other service of this sort. And lastly, because of the changes that have been legislated in the Canada Not-for-Profit Act, we must review and change our Constitution and bylaws to make them more streamlined as provided within the Act. In conclusion, I feel that the coming year is very much a year of positive discussion, momentum, and change. My commitment in this term of office is to continue to do all that I can do to grow our organization across Canada to make it as strong as it was once in our formative years. However, we need your input. And I ask you, as Bonnie did earlier, to contact your national councillor with your thoughts, your ideas, your concerns as related to the suggestions I've just made. I must reinforce right now the fact that momentum that has begun with the Making Connections membership campaign has begun, but it is still very much at a crossroads. We're not out of the woods yet. We must choose the path to stabilize our organization, and we can only do this by a willingness to discuss ideas, create plans of action, and get busy doing the work. When you look at our proud logo with its blue bold set off by the red stylized maple leaves, the color of the Canadian flag, it reinforces the message that there is a reason IODE is here. We have a purpose, we are needed, we make a difference by creating a better life for not only our members, but for individuals who need our help and for the institutions that require our assistance. We have a proud, rich history of women who have been making connections through IODE for more than 112 years. And I ask you to let us dedicate ourselves in this extraordinary time of change to ensure that we carry on the momentum that we have begun. And I thank you for your support in the past year. I look forward to your support in the coming year, and I will do all I can in the name of IODE. Thank you.